Some copper wire. Hi y'all, today we're going to talk about burn wires, what they are, how to make them, how to safely use them, and what you use them for. Y'all, this is Mike Peace. Welcome to my shop. I'm here to help you, give you tips, tricks, and techniques to help you become a better wood turner. If it's something you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss a future video. First, let's talk about how to make them. Basically, all it is a piece of wire with a handle on it. If you don't have a handle on it, they're going to get hot. If you try to wrap it around your fingers, you're liable to lose a finger. So the handle can either be a ball with a hole in it, or it could be a dowel with a hole in it, or you could twist it and tie it around a dowel. I've used different types for different size burn rings. I use a large gauge. I think this might be 12 gauge copper. Just be aware of copper. The more you use it, it's going to get heat hardened and then it'll eventually break on you. But you can use different size copper wires, and it's likely you have some handy. My favorite is using a guitar string. I couldn't tell you which string. I don't play guitar. I got these for my son. They come in different sizes, so they work very, very well. And that's what this one is. This one I got the wire from a friend, and this is nichrome. This is very fine for little fine detail burn marks. This is if you throw out an old toaster oven, you might be able to get those resistor wires, the heating element wires, because they're made out of nichrome. But they last a long time, don't seem to heat harden. Eventually they'll give out on you if you press too hard. You can also order this stuff. Alright, let me show you how you do this. First thing you're going to do, of course, get you a smooth surface. You want to get down to your final sanding because you don't want to go back and damage your rings. You've got to make a little V-groove for that burn wire to ride in. If you don't, it's going to slip off and cause you problems. Uneven, you're going to damage the wood surface, you're going to get tangled in the chuck. There's several tools you can use. For larger things, I like to use this V spear point scraper. The corner of a skew works just fine. Lay it flat, use a long point. My favorite though is the point tool with 3 sides. I got a video on how to make these. This works very well. And of course the scraper, as I mentioned. All of them work. Now, next thing you're going to do, now that you got your V-groove made, we're going to go ahead and burn it. This may seem kind of obvious to you, but it wasn't obvious to me. I had a friend of mine over, we were turning some pins together on 2 lathes, and I was holding it like this with my hand across. Let me do it left-handed, maybe you can see better. Like this, and he says, no, you got to drop your hand in the back to give it some friction. And I never thought about that. The other thing you got to do, turn the speed up. It's about 1,000. I would get it up to somewhere around 1,500. Make this long enough to safely go over, but you don't want it too long or it's going to tangle up in something. You don't want that. So bend your hand in the back until it starts smoking. It might have a tendency to grab, so be aware of that. So be aware where the wire is at all times. That's the medium one. Now let's turn the small one out of nichrome. And now let's go to the largest one out of copper. So just bend your hand back, be aware of where the chuck is. And didn't burn it in the middle, so make the V-groove appropriate to the burn wire you're using. Be aware that smelling this smoke is not good for your health, and if you got a fire alarm that's smoke sensitive, then it's liable to go. You're liable to set it off. So those are three different ways you use it. Now, in terms of, let's talk about safety a little bit. We talked about speed, get at appropriate speed. These things can throw some burn embers off possibly, so make sure you got a clean shop. Be sure you sweep your shop afterwards. You don't want some little ember coming off of this and landing in your shavings. Now, is it a likelihood? Probably not. Is it a possibility? Definitely. So be aware of it. The burn wire is hot, so be careful not to touch it except with the handles. Another item is make sure you don't have any finish on your wood before you burn it, because that'll create some type of vapors or volatiles that may not be healthy to breathe. So you don't want to do that. When you make these things, nature tends to like odd numbers. So make 1 or make 3 or make 5, but use an odd number in your design. Let me show you a few examples that I've successfully used to burn. This is not all of them, but this is several of them. I've got the basket on this little balloon ornament, the base of a Christmas tree, rings around a coffee scoop, a baby rattle, some fan or light pulls, and a spurtle, and of course tool handles. I do it on most of my tool handles to give it a little embellishment. I want to give this shout out to Mick Lawler, who suggested this video. Thanks, Mick. Y'all got any comments on using burn wires, making burn rings? Leave them in the comments below. Y'all stay safe. Come on back here.